Hello, welcome back. This is yet another episode of the Gospel Exposed. We are still looking at who exactly is this God you keep hearing, or who exactly is this God that you believe. And so the challenge here is to continue seeking for God. The more you seek Him, the more you find Him. We're just here to help point you to that direction and get there yourself. Pastor Emma, you're welcome.
Thank you, Archie. So we are continuing to delve into understanding God, understanding the person of God, the being of God, because that takes us to the core of who we are and why we exist as humans. And so we are delving into the subject of God, which is most times uncomfortable to many at first, but as you continue to understand it, it's the most liberating thing or concept from the Word of God. And so today I want us to look at Romans chapter 8 and verse 28. Many people are familiar with this portion. It says, "And we know that all things work together for good to those who love God, to those who are the called according to His purpose." Again, there we go. His purpose. Those who are called are only called according to His purpose. Those who God calls, He calls them only according to His purpose. So God calls us to fulfill His purpose. So it is important for you to understand what is the purpose of God. What is the purpose of God? Because your relationship with God will only fit in fulfilling His purpose for you. Amen. And as I said, as we walk in a world that is teaching us more about your will, you just need to have your vision, you just need to pursue your dreams, you just need to and you and me and all that. But the world is about God. Creation is about God. God is speaking to us about Him through everything that He does. Even our callings are according to the purpose of God. So the Bible is saying that everything works together for good. In the last episode, I told you that you can trust God because you know that He is good, because you know that God is love. So you can trust in His counsel and in what He's doing. If you know that somebody loves you, you can trust them. Even if sometimes you don't understand what they do, you can trust them because you are sure, you're confident that this person loves me. And so that's the same thing with us and God. We can trust Him because we know that He is good. We can trust Him because we know that He is love. We can trust Him because we know He is pure. There is no lie in God. God cannot lie. We can trust Him because we know He is faithful. We can trust Him because we know He is dependable. We can trust Him because we know He is all-powerful. God is not going to fail because of any reason. He is almighty. There is nothing that is impossible with God. So we can trust Him because we understand that at the core of His being, God is who He says He is. And so we know that the Bible is telling us here that God works everything for good. Everything works together for good. And this good is not just for God, but for those who love Him. So God first loved us, and the response is love back to Him. And those who love God, God works everything for their good. And everything means everything. It means the good, the bad, and the ugly. It all works for good. Maybe you're going through a mess right now. Maybe you're going through a hard time in your life. That is hard for you. It's not hard for God. That is impossible for you. It's not impossible for God. It might be over. You feel like it's over. It's not over until God says it is over. So God is working everything for good to those who are called according to His purpose. So the last thing is that we are called according to the purpose of God. What is the purpose of God? The Bible tells us in verse 29, it says, for whom he foreknew, he also predestined to be conformed to the image of the Son, that he might be the firstborn among many brethren. So we are called to be conformed to that image. Remember from the beginning, when he was creating, he said, let us create man. His purpose was, let us create man in our own image. Now, when man sinned, that image was distorted. That's why we have disease in the world. That's why we have poverty. That's why we have all these things, because the image was distorted. But God now is working all things to bring us to conformity to the image of the Son. So whatever you're going through, if you are in God, the purpose is to help you, to conform you to the image of the Son. And therein is where God is exalted, is where God is glorified, because he's glorified only and only in the Son. God is working everything for good to those who are called according to his purpose. God is all-knowing. God has never been shocked or surprised by what happens to anyone or what happens in any place in the world. Does he cause it? Maybe. Mostly not, for the evil things, the bad things that are happening in the world. God does not cause them, but he knows before they happen that they are going to happen, and he lets them happen. Now, because for us as human beings, we can manage damage to a certain extent because we are human. But God can even raise the dead. There is nothing that God cannot use for good. Even the worst thing. Even the worst thing. Maybe you're struggling to trust God and to believe God because you've gone through the worst thing. Maybe you've lost a dear one. Maybe you've lost. If you trust God with it, I want to tell you that God is more than able to use the worst of situations for your good, to glorify himself through that situation that you're going through. And I'm sure that God will surely glorify himself through that.
Wow, that is amazing. All things work together for our good, and everything that God does is for good. So whatever happens to us, the best, the worst, the good, the ugly, and those things you don't like to mention, they are all to conform us to his image. Thank you for watching, and I hope this has blessed you. From us to you, we appreciate your watching. Follow us on Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube channel, visit us at Generation Church in Meritoria Hotel. You are all most welcome. Write us an email. Let us know how this is blessing you. Thank you for watching. God bless you.